welcome. I just stole it from Dean. I'm just going to steal it from you. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of HIAC Talk Radio. I stole that from Dean. It is his namesake. He started it. And I talked to him. I talked to him, and everything's cool. It's just something he was not interested in, and my voice cracked again. I'm glad it waited for us to go back on the air for it to happen. Perfect. Great. I'm Dan Low 83. Mark Go Thompson at Go Thompson. Craig Lagon's at Real Big Whoop. Real surprise. If you haven't figured it out yet, at Craig Lagon's. This is not happy news this week. I don't know how else to really put it. The WWE released Zelina Vega, and I'm not it just on a look level, but also on a talent level. What a cluster F loss that is. I don't want to pretend to know. Quite frankly, I've been involved in and out of wrestling since 2012 now. I'll absolutely believe any story I hear about why she left. We're going to get into what we pretty much all think it is, and it has to do with making money outside of the WWE and Twitch and a union or lack thereof. Thanks, Hulk Hogan. So she posted, Zelina Vega posted a tweet about, I support unionization.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes later, the news came out she was released from the WWE.
Cool.
10 minutes later. I don't know if that is a coincidence or if that is the actual timeline. Because, I don't know about big businesses like that, but I'm told that it takes longer than 10 minutes to fire somebody. I'm like, I don't know about that. But that's where we are. Your initial reaction, you know what, Go? I'll go to you first. I'll go to you first, Mark.
There we go.
what do you think, man?
So, look, the first thing is, don't we all feel that maybe she was being, and I'm going to just put this out there first, underutilized?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't she fantastic in the ring? Like, this is all I remember. She was pretty awesome in what Impact or whatever the nonsense it was at the time, right? I
don't remember what it was called anymore when she was there.
Whatever TNA Impact nonsense it was. She held her own. She was good. She was fun. And they didn't let her wrestle. They kept her. So, cool. That's what you're going to do. Great. Okay, you're just going to keep her as a manager, which I'm a big proponent of because I'm a huge Paul Heyman guy. And I thought she was pulling that off very well, especially with the people that she was given. And they kept building towards this great storyline, and then they just keep cooling off. I just don't know sometimes what they do with their ideas. And then finally she says something messed up, and it's almost like she knew that she was I hate to be like this. Maybe she knew it would get her out.
Maybe. I thought about that for a second after that. Maybe it was deliberate because I needed out.
Maybe she's tired of being just not utilized the way, because it's not like she's treated with the same respect as like a Bayley or a Charlotte, even though that maybe she could. I mean, she's got to be Carmella level.
Yeah.
As good. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think she's better than Carmella, but that's just me.
I'm sure
I have no problems with Carmella, by the way.
No, I'm not picking on Don't think me mentioning Carmella is like a benchmark for a low standard. But like I feel like she's like a mid-tier person. Like she's good. She doesn't. I love her finisher, but there's just a lot of like Carmella's Carmella at a certain point. But I felt like Zelina Vega would have brought a lot to the table, and they just never went with it. And then I want Craig to go before we go into the aftermath of if Alistair gets released, because I've got a whole plot line for that set up. When we circle the wagon.
Well, I'm absolutely going to Craig after that. So, Craig, your initial reaction to everything.
Well, I agree with everything you said about Zelina Vega's talent level. If Carmella can get at least 2 reigns as a WWE Women's Champion, I think Zelina at least deserved 1. only because not only can she go in the ring, she can also talk and being a good manager. I don't think that it was her way of getting out because whether you like it or not, and especially in the WWE right now, there's not a whole lot to like, but you're with the number one professional wrestling company in the world. So you saying goodbye to that paycheck or wanting to get away from that paycheck wouldn't be smart at this juncture for anyone. So I don't think it was her trying to get out, despite how I think her frustration, which was a lot of people's frustration, that Miro expressed, because he's also was in a similar boat to Zelina in making an income outside of the WWE umbrella, which they don't like. Because if you're doing something on your free time and you're not using your name that the WWE provided for you to make said income, then we're going to have a problem, in the WWE's words. So you're in a pandemic. There's no live crowds. There's no house shows. There's no revenues. There's nowhere you can go to even make, living. Usually, there's house show money and there's merchandising. Since there's none of that, if a wrestler, independent contractor, whatever, wants to make money on their own on Twitch, which is very lucrative nowadays because everyone is home on their computers like us right now.
Hey, we're on Twitch.
Yeah, and why I don't see where you and I wouldn't see a problem with that, the WWE does. So her getting released because of that, and then that parting shot of unionization was after she already knew she was fired, which was her parting shot, which has long been a battle cry for the WWE wrestlers, especially now the ones who do make their living, who can make a living outside of the WWE brand. It's kind of it's a double-edged sword. Yes, you work for a major company that's providing you with an awesome living, but at the same time, if you want to do something outside of that as yourself, you won't be allowed to do it. And that's where that's where the conflagration and go, Dan, before you explode.
No. How do we feel about that as wrestling fans? A promoter saying, well, a promoter at that level, Craig, saying you can't make business. Whether there's a pandemic or not, just saying no, you can't do any other business outside of this place.
Here's a part of me that's torn, Dan, because I'm all for anyone, especially now, and I'm going to keep going back, underlining, especially now.
During a pandemic, you mean?
Yes, to make money outside of the wrestling business, which is a whole livelihood is on live crowds. Okay, if that's gone, yes, make as much money as you can. As a purist, I'm saying if I saw that, Roddy Piper at the height of WrestleMania was, Roderick Toombs on Google Play, having a good time, fun playing video games. It kills the whole character.
We're not. In those days, yes, I agree. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean that's what the WWE is trying to protect.
He's the one that broke kayfabe.
Yeah, but I mean Miro is a heel. He's Rusev, but at the same time, anyone who plays it on Twitch knows that he's a funny, good-looking, happy, fun-loving guy. But he's your heel.
Before I reply, I do want to say hi to 8-Bit Yates, who came into this room on the suggestion of Real Mama Eagle. I mod her channel on Wednesdays. And Real Mama Eagle just, mentioned a bunch of people in passing. He mentioned me and mentioned the Pro Wrestling Podcast. And 8-Bit Yates was like, did somebody say pro wrestling? I said, yes, and it's tonight. And 8-Bit Yates came into the room. So I appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much. Anybody who comes in the room, thank you very much. I just wanted to shout them out while I saw them in here. Don't have to. Go ahead, Craig.
Welcome, 8-Bit Yates.
If this was, you have all. I agree with you. If this was 80s, early 90s, no, there's no argument. The problem is that little Vinnie Mac decided that kayfabe wasn't a thing. In what year was that? 93, 92? The steroid stuff.
Yeah.
he decided that that was no longer a thing long ago. He did.
Mhm.
Nobody else. No other promoter was coming out in those days. The NWA wasn't going on TV and going, this is all fake.
Mhm.
So Vinnie Mac is a hypocrite at best in this.
So, just real quick, you guys went back and talked about Roddy Piper. When did the movies that Roddy Piper did happen?
88. 88? 87, 88.
Well, he did Body Slam when he was in.
Well, that was...
in the
Oh,
WWE.
well, that's a wrestling
I'm
movie,
talking
right?
about like
Yeah.
the really good ones, like Sam Hell Goes to Frogtown.
Hell Goes to Frogtown
Hell
is
Goes
not
to
a good movie.
No.
You
But They Live was.
back right now.
I'm
Yeah.
not taking it back. They Live
Yeah.
is a great movie. Hell Goes
They
to
Live is a
Frogtown
great
is
film.
garbage.
Yeah.
Come
But he
on,
did
man.
that. But he did They Live outside of after WWE.
He was actually on a retirement, and for all intents and purposes, Roddy is according to him,
Mhm.
going to stay retired.
Now the person
Go
you
close.
should have brought the person you should have brought up was Jesse Ventura because he did Predator against Vince McMahon's wishes, and he didn't and he wanted, and when he did it and it became a hit, Vince wouldn't let him back. Yes,
Yeah.
you're not to go to do anything outside of the WWF without Vince's say so.
Yep.
So
But it
Jesse
was-
Jesse was
it's
taking
Predator.
off comedy. Doesn't matter. I agree. Predator is all that. But you're working for me, Vince McMahon says to Jesse. You're not doing anything. You're not taking movies. You're not going out to,
Well, look what Vince Senior did to Hogan.
Yes.
Oh.
And I hate
Yeah.
Hogan, but come on.
Yeah, because that would, you're working for the WWF, but that put Jesse on the outs, and it was only after Jesse was taken off of commentary. That's why he was taken off in favor of Bobby Heenan, which turned out to be gold.
Of
you know.
course.
But
Let me explain something to Matt, who I had my friend Matt, who's in the room right now. Pshia, right, is a screen name, which is one of my favorite screen names, by the way.
Mhm.
When was this year or late last year? He had never seen They Live before.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, well,
What a horrible existence.
I rectified that.
Mhm.
I took care of my
my God.
boy, and we watched They Live on Blu-ray on a big TV, crystal clear, and he didn't like it.
He didn't. Dead to me.
He just wasn't in the mood.
To his credit, if you're watching it now, it's very dated.
Oh, sure, but
If you're watching it now, it's perfectly sane. It's everything that we've been living through.
well, you know what? I haven't watched it this year, so maybe I should give it another shot. But
You
anyway,
watch it circle back around and think of Donald Trump as one of those blue alien things underneath that orange Oompa Loompa face. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
Craig, I will say this: a lot of John Carpenter movies age very well, and that one does, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we got to talking about it because we were referencing, I believe we were wrestling the cripple fight from South Park.
South Park, yeah.
And I said,
shot for shot. from
it's
They
a
Live.
shot-for-shot remake of this fight from They Live. You got to see it.
Mhm.
And I think past that, he didn't really care for it. That, and I pointed out that the communication devices are a PKE meter from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But but to bring it back around to him liking Roddy Piper, he said, "I'm just going to watch the Maniac episodes from It's Always Sunny."
Those are really good.
Mhm.
Well, we want you to do this. I'm the Maniac. No, but to get back on track real quick, guys, let me bring it around. This is my show, okay? No, I'm kidding. Let me bring this back around. I'm the Preston here, okay?
Circle the wagons.
Here are the wagons.
Hmm.
Back to Zelina Vega real quick, and back to the point that Craig and we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes. My problem with that is, and my original point was, yes, I agree with you. In the 80s and 90s and before that, perhaps I have no argument against, like, we can't do that. The F out of here. You're going to ruin everything we've built up here. We are, my math is correct. If my math is correct, we're about 28 years past it's sports entertainment, Vince.
Mhm.
Right?
You mean the death of kayfabe?
Yeah.
God rest her soul.
God rest her soul. We're past that point. And especially, Craig, that you're driving the point home, and rightfully so, that's during the pandemic. The fact that we all know even the young kids know. I knew it. I knew. Like, okay, this is a TV show, and that's it. Whether for good or for bad, Craig.
Yeah.
We agree more than we disagree, but sometimes I'm like, the old days would be kind of cool right now.
Yeah.
I mean, fight-wise, like presentation-wise, I mean.
Yeah.
During a pandemic, 28 years past kayfabe being dead, I think it is a bit of an overreach for Vince to go, you can't do Twitch, even with your real name. Well, wait a second. You can't tell, you can't stop me from doing things under my real name. As far as I know, it's not in the contract. I know Paige basically told him to go pound sand.
Yeah.
I know that Miro, formerly known as Rusev, also told him to go pound sand to the point where he pounded sand right the hell out of there. And rightfully so. There's another place you can go right now, so hell yeah. And Zelina Vega also told him to go pound sand. So no, I don't agree with that. Well, you can't. They're not doing anything to harm the business doing this. If you told me this harms my job, if it affected me from doing my job properly and what I was hired to do in the WWE, I get it. That argument is gone now. It doesn't make any. That's just my opinion. Go ahead, Craig.
No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. If you're not, especially if you're doing something, I don't know if the problem with they're using their real name or they're doing something that has nothing to do with wrestling to make a living. And the Twitch or video stream or having a podcast or anything else that can sustain your living, especially now, I don't see why that. But Vince has, there's this iron-fisted reach, and he owns the names of all the people that he wrestles that wrestle for him. So you doing something outside of that is, to his words, an intellectual breach of contract.
So stupid.
Yes, I agree, but that's why I'm saying he's sowing derision right now. He's losing. He lost to Miro and he lost to Zelina Vegas. Top talents that were incredibly underutilized and probably won't hurt them in the long run. When they start losing big names, I mean, granted, Dean Ambrose was a bigger name than either Miro or Zelina Vegas,
Yeah, but
when you start losing people on that caliber that are main event people because they are tired of not being able to make a living outside of, then you might see something. You might see, but it's already a sore subject and it's already a point of contention for the wrestlers, especially now that aren't on TV every Monday and Friday night, that need an income or that need something to sustain them. So why wouldn't they do it?
So if he has a problem with them not using their names, Vince McMahon has $1 billion. He could buy all their names on Twitch and have them do it on Twitch under their own names, right? Like that's the thing.
Yeah, but
like if that's the problem, like if that's the thing he has a little like hard on about, like then cool. Go ahead, buy their names, make them close their other accounts. Say, look, I'm going to buy this account for you. You do it through us. Buy, boom. Here's how you do it.
Up, down,
and
down.
Then, you mean? Like that's the other person I was going to bring up. I mean, like, don't you think Xavier Woods is on the fringe of being like flushed into existence?
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to G4 and it won't matter.
Well, here, and that's a shame. I just, you know what?
Yes, for us, not for him, though.
Yeah.
No, because he's going to make $1 million on G4.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's a shame for us because I think Xavier Woods is one of the most underrated wrestlers in the company. Xavier can go. Most people don't know that because they haven't watched him as Consequences Creed, or I forgot his exact name when he came into the WWE. Maybe it was already Xavier Woods. I don't remember.
Yeah,
it was some crossbreed of the both names.
But he's a fucking fantastic wrestler, and most people just know goofy trombone player.
Here's what I don't even care about: goofy trombone player. if you give him a microphone, he's like Jericho was when he had the TV title on WCW. Said, "Oh, just go out there and make some shit up for 10 minutes."
Yeah.
Like if you gave him 10 minutes, he's going to entertain you for 10 minutes.
Remember when the New Day was going to be one of those black gimmicks that got buried?
Yeah.
Remember that? You know why that didn't happen? Xavier Woods.
Yeah, and now Mark Henry was supposed to lead them. And one more point about Xavier. He's a great point, Dan, but he's kind of an outlier because he also has a degree, so he doesn't need any of this crap.
Motherfucker has a PhD.
Yeah, so he doesn't need any of this shit.
That's why I got banned on Gary Michael Capetta's Facebook page. You want to know why? I never talked about it here. So when Xavier a couple years ago, maybe it was about a year ago, he said something about how, and quite frankly, I'm on this side of it too, and I don't think he's wrong either, that the fans have a little too much to say about how and what happens on the shows now.
Yeah.
Because of social media. That's why I try to avoid it on this show, because I think quite frankly, I think I'm above that. Mm-hmm. That's just me. I don't sit here and say I could book it different. I don't think I have time for that. However, Xavier's point was correct, and it was so correct that he pissed off all the white folk that started dropping that famous effing word, that the N-word, and basically said on Gary Michael Capetta's page, and this is not a reflection on Gary, this is a reflection on Facebook. They basically said what I call it the Allen Iverson argument. If it wasn't for us, that N-word wouldn't have a job. Mm-hmm. And I said, you dumb crackers realize he has a PhD, right?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That was my reply. You dumb crackers realize he has a PhD.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guess who got banned from that page?
And you got banned for that.
Not the guy that said the N-word. Just me saying cracker. That's like, and I didn't get their reply, so I'm kind of mad because I would have liked to seen the white anger going.
Harumph.
He doesn't need us. He has PhD. You fools. Zelina Vega has talent that is unmatched, in my opinion, in that company, and she will be fine.
Yeah.
But and whatever
the MLW.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Is it MLW? At this point, I don't care where she goes as long as it's not Impact.
Yeah. I think she could definitely revitalize the AEW women's division.
Oh God!
Please, they're fighting over a title that's not even theirs.
I told AEW how they can fix the women's division.
But and the thing about Zelina, they also have a built-in storyline that would work, and it's symptomatic of how the WWE used her. She was introduced, because her father died at 9/11 legitimately. So as a fireman who died at 9/11.
Yeah, I remember it was hammered home a lot.
Yeah. So then they bring her out as a heel. So what was the point of, if you're gonna why was that? It's just contradictory. Okay. So why would you bring her in that way? Obviously, she's a better heel than a face because she's so easy to dislike. But if that's the case, then why bring up the fact that her dad was? It's kind of like what they did with the Southern Belle. She came in as a heel, but then they tried to humanize her. Oh, she's a Marine and she's got a daughter and all that. And it's like, no, she works as a heel though. Okay, you're asking us to cheer for this woman just because she has a baby and she served in the armed forces. When you brought her in as a sassy Southern Belle who, dresses like, Daisy May from the Little Abner comics, and you expect us to cheer for her now? Yeah, so, but again, this is symptomatic of how the WWE treats some of the wrestlers they've underutilized, like her and Miro, but the women's division in general.
It's going to get touchy as we get into this subject because I'm going to hurt a lot of feelings coming up in a second. Not intentionally, just the way it is.
I'm excited.
Let me bring up another name. Oh, by the way, a little bit of tidbit that I missed is apparently her Twitch got shut off, or she was made to shut it off, so she created an OnlyFans, and that's why she got fired.
Yeah, because she was getting money from folks.
Go to hell, Vince.
Yeah, because Vince sees OnlyFans as something that like porn stars, adult stars, and other less reputable people used to
Says the
make
guy
money.
that pushed Sonny.
Yeah.
Man,
Who couldn't
can you
talk.
imagine her OnlyFans page?
Yeah.
Yowie wowie.
Yeah, but imagine if as long as she doesn't talk.
Yeah, it's fine.
It always goes back to whenever I think of
You don't have to turn the volume
Sable,
up.
I think of goddamn Mark Marrow, and I'm like, oh my god, men want to be with me, and women want to be me. Durr. Yeah, great. Thank God she's got boobs. That's why he pushed her.
And Jim Cornette called Sable and Tammy. He said Tammy was an upfront cunt. Sable was an undercover cunt.
That's quote unquote from Jim Cornette,
From
who
Jim
is a
Cornette.
friend of Sonny, or was. I don't know where he
Yeah,
stands on
but
Sonny now.
always called her an upfront cunt.
Yes.
Sable was an undercover cunt.
Well, Sonny was made for the business.
Yeah. Yeah, she was.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring up another name here that's happened like days before, but Sasha Banks was on The Mandalorian
She was under her real name.
under her real name.
Mhm.
That's exactly my point.
So you Sasha Banks fans waiting at the end of The Mandalorian and see Sasha Banks' name came up, you're still waiting because it's not there.
It's I forgot her surname, but it was Mercedes. What the hell's her real name?
Dog.
don't
It's dog. It's like Snoop Dogg.
No, it's
Right?
not Snoop Dogg. No.
Mm.
I was like, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, I forgot she's legit.
D-O-double-G.
or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mercedes DOG.
But as always,
Mercedes Varnado.
okay, but
Varnado.
you can't have two Mercedes, and just like you can't have two Seans,
Yeah,
there are two Shanes. So
yeah, right.
had
That's the
to
same.
change it.
I don't get it. But anyway, the real name thing is okay as long as they can control it, I guess.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
stupid.
It
Again, I know the argument is going to be, well, they have a job, they can't be, but that doesn't affect the other job negatively at all. Zero.
Mm-mm.
In fact, people who don't know wrestling go, who's that hottie?
hmm
And go, oh, she's a wrestler.
And the thing is, why? And it all goes back to Vince, Jesse doing a movie that's not. But if you're doing something outside the company, that's not promoting the company. Because the reason why Hulk Hogan, he had no problem of Hulk Hogan doing movies because Hulk Hogan was doing the type of Vince movies he wanted to do, over the top, and
You mean bad
appearing,
ones?
yeah, and appearing on TV shows as Hulk Hogan. See, that
Yeah.
helps the brand out. But if you're Jesse Ventura, who has always been good friends with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he asked him to be in a movie, that caused dissension between him and Vince, and that's what got Jesse off of commentary, and he was only brought back for the Survivor Series. And then, he wasn't allowed to do another movie again until Running Man when he was in WCW.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Some of Ventura's best work was when he was in WCW and he ended up doing the Demolition Man.
I was going to bring up Demolition Man.
Yes.
Will you please?
You're welcome.
Well, that's the great. I always cite when people don't know that's Jesse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, Jesse's the one that kills the old man in Demolition Man. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Wesley
so
Snipes goes, will you please kill him? He's pissing me off. It just shoots. It's literally Jesse going, ha ha ha, just blowing him away.
Yeah,
And
he doesn't
so
even have any. He doesn't have any lines. And Jesse Ventura is still the only man to kill Arnold Schwarzenegger on screen
Oh yeah, that's true.
in The Running Man.
That's true.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for those who haven't
Spoiler.
seen a 30-year-old movie.
Yeah.
Jesse
you go.
Ventura,
Yeah,
you mean the
if you
goddamn
watch
sexual?
again.
Pat Ash just says, Jesse Ventura, you mean the goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus?
Yes, that's him.
Hey, hold on, Mark, before you go. Craig, do you, off the top of your head, recall the story on why didn't Jesse get busted by Hulk about unionization or wanting to unionize?
Yeah,
Or was
Hogan stooged to Vince about Jesse wanted to unionize. And that's what got him in trouble. He was already on thin ice because of the movie, but he stooged on, just like he stooged on Slaughter. That's why Sergeant Slaughter left, because he also wanted to unionize. And his suggestion was, now that we are making money hand over fist, and now that we can take care of ourselves, and this travel is insane, why not let us get some benefits out of this, since I have to be in Toronto on Monday and Miami on Tuesday and Los Angeles on Wednesday, and I can't feel my face, and we need to be taken care of. And so if I can't go, um, it can be some help can be provided for us. But yeah, Hogan stooged to Vince about Jesse, and he stooged to Vince about Sergeant Slaughter. Ventura knew about his revenue stream still going to be okay whether he was with WWF or not. So, he took the demotion and before he eventually left. And I said on this very podcast about the amount of royalties that he was owed that he didn't get paid for all the commentary he did on the WWF Coliseum videos that he wound up getting again once he was in WCW,
Yeah.
$828,000. But so he knew he was going to be okay. Sarge just took his ball and left. Even at the height of his fame, when he and Hogan were selling out arenas on both sides of the country at the same time.
Wow.
Sergeant Slaughter left the WWF to go to AWA at the height of his fame. Sergeant Slaughter sold out Madison Square Garden in his feud with the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov without Hulk Hogan. Okay, he sold out Madison Square Garden.
Really?
During Hulkamania. Okay, only Slaughter could do that.
I can't believe Sergeant Slaughter was that big.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Well, if there was no Hulk Hogan, if Vern Gagne had been smart and put the AWA belt on Hogan, so Hogan wouldn't have left, and he needed a babyface champion because they wanted to transition from Backlund. Sergeant Slaughter had already started his feud with Iron Sheik that turned him into a babyface, mega babyface, before Hogan even got there.
What?
So
what an insane universe that would be.
Yes. Well, they couldn't coexist because Hogan and this bears itself out 10 years later in WCW, didn't want anyone getting more over than him. Anyone who even started to do it, he would squash. Alex Wright, Berlin, the NWA, Chris Jericho, Sting, Goldberg, you name it. He tried to squash it. But yeah, he stooged Slaughter about unionization back in 1984, and Sergeant Slaughter left the WWF at the height of his fame.
I mean, I'll say this for Hogan: he was a shrill and crude businessman.
Yes, and Kevin
Learn
Nash,
from the best,
whom I've never been a fan of. He said Hogan was one of the greatest guys you ever meet. Loyal. I mean, you walk into a building with Hogan. Hogan will pose, talk to every person there. The janitor who brings his kid in, Hogan will get a picture taken with him, sign everything, no problem. One of the nicest guys you ever meet. At the same time, he wouldn't care if you made a dime as long as he made $1. Okay? Always upfront about that, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why when people get mad, like, you leave Hulk Hogan alone, like, Hogan knows he's a piece of trash.
Yeah.
He's fine. He made his money.
Hogan does not give a shit.
Nope.
He took down Quaker, okay?
Yeah. You wanted to talk about Zelina's husband.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did real quick. I have like a little conspiracy theory. If I can cut Dan off, I'm sorry.
You wouldn't be the first one. You won't be the last.
So my conspiracy theory is they both go to AEW,
mm-hmm.
and then
as a team.
Well, no, she goes in as just a women's division character, but he ends up being part of the Dark Order.
Ooh.
And being like a better leader than Brody Lee because he's a little more dynamic. That's my theory.
I mean, is it a theory or is that wishful thinking?
Maybe it's a little bit of both.
I like it.
I love Brody Lee, but like I just don't like the Dark Order. Such a I don't know what am I supposed to do with the Dark Order? What do I do with the Dark Order?
What are you supposed to do with any of the 8 factions that are in AEW now? You got the Dark Order.
Only 8?
Well, Dark Order, Best Friends, the Elite, the Eddie Kingston
Best Friends isn't
group.
A faction as much as it is a 6-man tag team.
Okay, but
Champions waiting to happen.
Yeah, but you got Eddie Kingston's group, and you got Team Taz, and there's so many
champions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this to you over and over again because it's going to happen. They're going to make a 6-man tag team championship belt, and everyone's going to vomit in their mouths.
No, I'm going to love it. What are you talking about?
No, don't say that.
I loved it when it was NWA, WCW, and I won another one.
You won a 6-man tag team
I loved the
championship?
6-man title. I loved that.
Oh, God. Oh.
Give me more tag teams. I love tag team wrestling's done right.
I
Is
love
still
tag
my
team
favorite.
Mhm.
But then you have a tag team champions, and then you have a
Just
6-man.
don't put the Young Bucks anywhere near it.
No, they're going to.
I fixed it.
I
fixed it.
What's his name?
I fucking fixed it. Don't put the Young Bucks near it.
Cody and the Young Bucks win the 6-man tag.
Fuck Cody and the Young Bucks. There, I just said it. Keep them
The
away
Nightmare.
from it.
Yeah, the Nightmare Family, another faction. There you go.
I fixed it, everybody.
But I think with Aleister Black, obviously he's caught between, and he's not the first wrestler. I mean, first WWE employee who's married to someone in another company. Adam Cole, baby, and for a while, Dean Ambrose.
Oh yeah.
Um,
My favorite is when he bombed that Fox
Yeah.
WWE show with the
Yeah.
dog.
that was funny. Yeah.
Oh, get off the
So,
screen, quick, run!
But Aleister is a tremendous talent. Another example of the WWE not using it. Aleister Black should be at least where Bobby Lashley is now. I mean, not so much in a group, but a United States or Intercontinental Champion. Because if you saw his work in NXT, and I was one of the few people in NXT of chomping at the bit for him to get called up to the main roster. He went undefeated for about 8 months. So when he finally did lose to AJ in a screw job, should have been brought up as some type of, major, and it wasn't. I mean, granted, most of his undefeated streak came over Buddy Murphy every week, and that feud went nowhere. I don't even know why it was a feud since Aleister won every single match. But or even just have him join. I thought he was going to join Seth's Monday Night Messiah or Disciple thing, which would have made a little sense. And then his feud with Kevin Owens just got dropped out of nowhere. But this guy is supremely talented and definitely deserves a bigger spot on the roster. Now that he's not getting it, though, he even requested to go back to NXT, which go the Finn Balor route. He had a lot more opportunities there, and the WWE said no. So if they're not going to honor his request to go back to NXT, and they obviously have no plans to push him on the main roster, what exactly should Aleister Black do, if not leave?
I mean, that stuff behind the door, telling people to knock on the door, would have been great if it went anywhere.
Yeah.
Once again, it was just you can ask. There's 2 people I'm friends with. You just shut up. That I'm friends with that saw the night that he debuted. I literally said the minute he popped up out of those candles, I said, I'm all in on this guy. Whatever he's doing, I'm buying. He's an Eskimo selling ice, whatever that phrase is. I'm all in. Do you know what I'm saying? I was just all in on everything he was selling. I thought Aleister Black was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was Undertaker-esque. It was fun. It was different. It was.
I thought that's someone that he should have worked with.
100%.
Hold on. This just popped in my head. How did the WWE drop the ball with 2 perfect Undertaker replacements?
Because they're WWE.
They had The Fiend, and they had and they have Aleister Black, and they were just like, just another guy.
Yeah. Those the lanterns, black magic, meh.
Well, because they have Hollywood screenwriters. They don't have wrestling bookers.
Not all of Hollywood is good.
No,
I'm just saying.
Obviously, but that's when you don't have.
Jr. wrote for them. Damn it.
Patrice O'Neal wrote for them.
Oh, Christ on a bike.
So, yeah, it shows
I don't remember any of that. Is that really?
Patrice O'Neal. Ralph Funches wrote for the WWE.
Ralph probably went there and said, fuck you guys.
He even wrestled a dark match. And if you ever saw the show, damn it, AP Bio. He even wrestled.
That's my favorite show. There's an amazing the storyline with him being a wrestler is amazing.
Yeah, well, that was from his real life because he not only wrestled, but he also wrote for the WWE. So yeah, you had Ralph Funches, you had Patrice O'Neal, Thea Vidal, who played Shelton Benjamin's mother for a time, and Freddie
she was a
Prinze
writer.
Jr.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she had her own ABC sitcom.
I never made the connection, man.
Yes, same
Yeah.
woman.
I'm ashamed of myself.
But these are the people that are in WWE behind the scenes creating storylines and writing. There's no bookers. There's no two guys in a locker room with their trunks on going over an ending. There's no Eddie Graham. There's no Jim Cornette. There's no Bill Watts saying, okay, this is how we're going to do this. With this guy's a heel, this guy's a babyface. You get the fans to hate this guy, so when he beats the shit out of this guy, the fans are upset. So when this guy comes back and beats the shit out of that guy, everyone's happy. That's called wrestling. That's how you do that with a series of moves and not 28 run-ins and a referee get knocked down 28 seconds into the match and over and over again. And there you have a product. And guess what? That's worked for about 100 years.
I have this.
I love you, Craig, by the way. I love you so much.
No, stop it. It's the show. We're not going to do any better than that tonight.
No, that's it. We're in. No, I believe there's a happy medium somewhere.
Can we just have him repeat that for the whole wrestling historian, too? Like nails down the whole
But go. If you see something right now that you don't like on WWE or AEW, we blame the writers.
I know.
A lot of the times it doesn't come down to the talent. It comes down to what's going on behind the scene.
Exactly.
I know. Because it's like Ricochet. Why is Ricochet bad? He's good in the ring. I know he's no home run on the microphone, but you're telling me you can't put Ricochet into a good match right now?
I still have this theory.
Ricochet fight Aleister Black.
Hold on. I still have this theory that most of the reason why people sound terrible on the mic is because the scripts are so bad.
They're given scripts, Dan. That's what I'm talking about. You're
not everybody. Some people need them, but a lot of these people, like, I don't need to. You're putting me in front of a camera. You got people around me telling me what just get the script away from me. I got this.
Yeah, you just. I mean, in the now I'm saying.
I know. No, you're right. People who benefited from a script. Sting.
Yes.
When he came to WWE and they said Sting's going to have an interview exclusive right after Raw on the WWE Network, the Sting mark and I immediately went, oh, God, no. No. This is, no. Don't do that. And I was like, wait a minute. Not that he was a great actor, but he did act. He can memorize a script. This actually might be fine. And it was. It was one of the better promos he's ever cut. And there's only 2 or 3 promos in WCW that he ever cut that were any good, and the ones I've memorized. I was there for one of them in person.
In the day, Andrew and Mike, okay, you're going up against The Rock. Jim, you're going against the Rock and Roll Express this Thursday in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You got a minute. Go.
You know what? You know, it's been sadly lacking.
I can tell you some things about Chattanooga, Tennessee.
No, don't.
No, it's okay.
You know what's lacking?
Promo.
You know what's lacking about interviews?
What?
Dusty Rhodes is dead.
Yeah.
Oh, Dusty.
And that's what he told Jim.
That's it, period.
And what I just told you is what he would tell the talent. Okay, we're going to
I need you to sell Clash of Champions. You got 5 minutes.
Yes, go.
Why do you want me to come to Clash of Champions? That's it.
And who you're wrestling, and why don't you like them? Go. That's
Back on track.
Mm-hmm.
I should not ring.
I don't know. AEW.
I was going to say I should not read Twitter when I'm doing the show.
No.
Is he there?
No. Something funny happened. There's a funny tweet about. Never mind. I can't. It's very funny.
Okay. Well, here, real quick. I did want to ruin your day, Dan.
Jesus Christ! Always some sound coming out of his fucking thing. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead. Ruin my day. Thanks.
So instead of giving you the list I wanted to do real quick, I'm going to do Mark ruins Dan's day, my new segment. I heard that AEW has reached out to Sting to be the mentor to the apprentice of the skateboarding monstrosity.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. That's what I read the other day. They want to bring Sting in because, you know, Sting's not doing much, and, you know, they've got a guy with white face paint, and he, you know, does things with long jackets.
So anyway, unions.
Yes.
I'm moving on from that. I don't.
The
Listen,
more you know.
Listen. Yeah, if Sting's there, I'll watch. But no, please don't do that.
He's Darby Allin's dad. That's the storyline.
He's Ding.
Little Ding.
Little Ding. He's the dinger.
Wait until Dong comes out.
He starts going, "Wah!" Okay, unions. Here's what and Dean and I were in a conversation about this on Twitter months ago with somebody who was not happy with either one of us. Unions need to happen. We're long past it. It should have been a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And to touch upon something that Craig kind of barely touched upon earlier about wrestlers making money outside of the WWE, there's some really bad promoters in indie wrestling. I don't know if you know this.
I've heard.
Who will stiff anybody. I'm trying to tiptoe lightly on this based on things I've been,
baby.
Yeah, things I've been involved with that, you know, I'm just gonna. They need to be held accountable because they'll just disappear. There needs to be a governing body. There really does. Yeah. And let me preface this by saying, people who are watching, I am not by any means an expert on unions or should tell you how to do it. I don't know how to get to this point. I don't even know where to start. But the way it's going isn't working. How many times since the pandemic alone and before have you seen a story about a promoter fucking over the fans who paid money? They'll never see it again, and the show gets canceled. Or a promoter overbooking a show and stiffing the others and overpaying another. Or a wrestler, in some cases, sticking it to the promoter and taking the money. Something has to give. Because wrestling is burning down right now. And it's accelerated with the pandemic. And once the pandemic comes back, once wrestling comes back,
it's back.
No, it's back. Once the vaccine starts going in rotation and people start assimilating back into life and we get blood pumping back into the business and people are allowed to go to shows again. By the way, I'm never going to an indie wrestling show again without a mask on. I've seen some of you people react to just being asked to wash your fucking hands. You disgusting fuckers. I'm never not wearing a mask at a place again.
I wish I could go back.
Also, never eating a street hot dog.
Go ahead. Oh, I'll eat a street hot dog, but I'm not. That'll go in my stomach, and the battery acid will kill the shit out of that. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Craig?
I said I wish I could go back and wear a mask at all the indie shows I went to.
Yeah. Well, you're immune to coronavirus. You're fine.
Yeah.
You and we've gone to the bathroom in the ECW arena. We're immune.
Yes, we have. Yes. Okay.
Mark too. Yes, you're immune. If you went to the bathroom in that place, you are immune.
Not only did I use the bathroom, I also used the alley behind it.
Oh, well, then you can't get anything.
I don't think I can catch anything anymore. Fuck. I'm going to live to 100.
Well, Dan, to your point, one of the people that is firmly in the corner of unionization and who made his presence felt during the Zelina Vega when her tweet about unionization, it was Andrew Yang, who unsuccessfully ran for president, but has made it very clear that he's not going away on this issue.
Oh no.
That
You've lit a fire under his ass, and he'll be annoying about it.
yes, so if he gets appointed to a cabinet in the new Biden administration, expect this issue to be placed front and center quite a bit and a lot more often. So the wheels are so this is something that's a very real possibility, or at least a very real discussion that will be had in a major way in the coming year, because of Zelina Vega and Miro and just other even independent wrestlers who don't have an income now, who will have to use other.
Who is this person you speak of, Craig? I'm sorry.
No,
Yang?
Pretend I know nothing about science.
No.
Okay, Pete.
Andrew Yang unsuccessfully ran for president last year. He's also, believe, is a governor of what state, I'm not sure, but he's been very outspoken about unionization of independent contractors in general and pro wrestlers in particular.
He immediately jumped on that tweet.
Yes,
Like, I'll back you up.
What?
Yeah.
So just real, like, I hate. I'm not laughing at this guy. I just think it's crazy that and it's not a bad demographic to target, that some presidential hopeful was like, and plus pro wrestling, they need a shake.
Well, no, it's not that. It's that he literally saw that tweet.
Mm-hmm.
People tagged him in it.
Yeah.
And was like, you need to look into this. And he was like, oh. He didn't just find it. Yeah.
No.
When she tweeted it out, people were like, people who have been following, any type of politics was like, oh, we know the guy that can do this, or can at least get the ball rolling.
I'm taking it the backwards way.
Yeah.
I thought he was like super pro wrestling unionization.
No.
Part of his platform for presidency. And I was like, well, that's a fun one to run on.
No. We're talking about a guy who has some sort of,
like, we learned about him through the election. Got it. I'm 100% on page now.
Yeah. So it's in the circulation now. That's the thing. And so Vince is going to get even more unbearable when that shit happens. Yeah. What's up, Glow Socks? What's up, Aaron? I saw you coming in, and I was trying to tag you in a hello while we were talking, but it wouldn't let me tag you for some reason. We're talking about Zelina Vega leaving the company under the circumstances, and Socks just said Yang Gang. Well, he's caught up. Yeah, I think again, not a union expert, but some of the stuff I've seen up close and from afar in independent wrestling, the commission, if not, the commission needs to be stricter, and there needs to be commission involved. When there's not a commission, there needs to be a union. There needs to be some sort of governing body over the workers that protect these people. Because quite frankly, one of the points I forgot to bring up when I mentioned Sasha Banks on The Mandalorian was her real name is in the credits. She's now an actress in SAG-AFTRA. She's got like the best insurance and the best medical coverage, the same that actors get now.
Yes.
He doesn't need the WWE no more.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what Jesse did why he signed on to play in Predator, because that gave him coverage that he didn't have in his 20 years in wrestling. Yeah. And he was someone now, and Jesse was someone even when he was starting out in the Pacific Northwest and in the AWA that would tell guys in the locker room to vote. And he would say, vote for this guy because he's all for unionization for independent contractors. And he was saying that before he even got to the WWF. So Jesse was always a forward-thinking guy, not so much thinking in terms of government or politics, but thinking in terms of safety for the people he worked with, pay, and, the fact that the janitor that cleaned up after the wrestling match was over had benefits, and he didn't. He sold out the San Diego Sports Arena, but the guy cleaning up had more benefits than he did. So that's something that he always fought for. And the fact that he had a bigger and bigger voice when he got to the WWF, he had the loudest megaphone possible.
Though, to be fair, Craig,
Mhm.
some nights that janitor did way more work than Jesse did.
I agree.
Some nights.
Some nights. Yes, depending on who was wrestling. Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Depending on if Pantera was in concert.
that's true. Did they go to San Diego? I don't think anybody.
I don't.
San Diego.
Who cares? There's a lot of vomit at that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that brings us to a close on episode A of 502 of HIAC Talk.
And going-
Yeah, we're going to end on vomit. We're going to keep it classy here. Mark, where can people follow you on Twitter, sir?
Oh, follow me at GOTHOMPSON. That's on Twitter and on the Instagram, and of course at ArmDragPC. That's where I post wrestling stuff that no one cares about anymore.
Yeah, you should do it on HIAC because nobody cares anyway.
Hey, guess what? I'll start making stuff there too.
I'll give you the password. Mr. Legans,
Sir,
where can people follow you, sir?
they can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at the aforementioned Craig Legons, CRAIGLIGGEONS.
Follow me on Twitter at Danlo83. You're already on Twitch. So if you missed anything, you want to go back and watch it, watch the edited episodes at youtube.com/Dan93. The VOC Nation Radio Network is on VOCNation.com on your smartphone. Go to your podcast app if you want to listen on your smartphone. Type in VOC Nation Radio Network. For Craig Legons and Mark Go Thompson, I am the above average comedian Dan Calchico. We'll see you for the Wrestling Historian episode. Keep a lookout. And if you don't watch that, we'll just see you next week.